All right, I thought I would explain two biblical relationships to this agency buzzword bugbear that has caught me and blew my mind and made me make all sorts of connections to all sorts of concepts and stuff like that. I hope it's a secular, understandable to a secular person thing while explaining biblical concepts. Um, and I worded it the way I did because I wanted to strip it of the whole theological baggage, um, but also relate a little bit to what the Bible means by it as a true believer in God specifically, because I believe I get signs from God, not like voices in my head or hallucinations or anything like that. Just sort of like, like often when I ask a question I know the answer is yes to, basically the light turns green, and it happens a lot. You know, it's and when I first got this experience, I was like, I feel like a piece of crap. I miss my ex girlfriend, and I regret mistreating her. And immediately after, a YouTuber said she broke up with him. Oh, he mistreated her. Well, I don't know if I should help. I was kind of like spooked, and ever since then, I've been like on the lookout for these things and so on. So but anyways, so I'm a true believer in God now and stuff like that. Anyways, um, I think this agency thing works even if you don't believe in God on some level, but like the God thing helps out quite a bunch. It helps you kind of it's like two pillars and an arch capstone, right? The pillars exist without the capstone, but the capstone of the arch makes it better, more useful. Um, Anyways, two biblical things relating to agency and so on is oh, now I've forgotten them. Damn it, what were they? Old Testament, Old Testament. All right, Moses talking to the fake God King man, um, and relaying God's words to Pharaoh. Let my people go so they may worship me. Um, that's freedom from tyranny, freedom to holiness, as they say. And as I explained in my previous videos, that's an increase in agency and so on. Now, the desert represents once you're out of someone sabotaging your agency, the learned helplessness that you have to crawl out of for some time into the promised land. That's my experience so far. I'm in the desert still, technically, but I think I see the Holy Land now, so I'm like, oh, thank God for that. I think I see a successful life in the horizon finally. Um, the second biblical thing is, let's see, was it New Testament or Old Testament? Um, God, I really want to remember this because it's actually kind of important. Um, it's not the book of Revelation. It's not Acts. It's not Hebrews or Corinthians. I don't know if it's Matthew, Luke, John, or Mark, but I don't think so. I think it's another Old Testament thing, actually. Um, What was that? Maybe it was Jordan Peterson. That sounds kind of like it. In a sense, agency is the goal. Rights and responsibilities. Freedom to do something, freedom from getting something done to you. It's something. It's something important, but I can't remember what I was thinking just like 5 minutes ago about it. I literally had it in my mind beforehand. Oh, maybe it was the desert and Pharaoh together. Okay, well, anyways, sorry about that. But this explains why Nietzsche was talking about the need for master morality as opposed to slave morality as well. So I guess that's the third thing. Um, because of agencies improvement, like almost across the board in any given situation and so on. Um, this also is um, this relates to the position, body, beauty, direction, spirit, tr- goodness, mind, velocity, truth, dynamic, with the addition of obstacle, transformative object that attaining transforms you to evolve or devolve, technically, as I mentioned with trauma and stuff like that, but evolve for the most part for when your goal is something. And agency is the energy that starts the movement. Which is why it's crucial, like the other three. And an obstacle only exists in relation to the goal of the direction. That's all an obstacle is. And this explains why evil is a parasite on the good, in the sense that evil doesn't exist almost, and good, there's only lesser goods or greater goods in Christian teaching, and why yeah. So it's not about being selfish, it's about being an agent, having agency, acknowledging agency. Um, the times when one's agency seemingly causes bad things big time and so on is because you're not recognizing the obstacle to your agency. And it's not like everyone else or like reality is the problem or something like that. It's more like the mental block, more or less. Now, granted, other people and so on have agency, and animals have a bit of agency, so they can interfere with your agency and so on. But at that point, it becomes merely a problem of weighting the overall good to you and them in that particular relationship, and so on. And that's why morality is the basis of a good society, not ethics. Ethics is group based thinking based on statistical analysis, and morality is the decisions made in each situation on an individual by individual basis as a concept, a spreadable, objective framework for relating to the world in particular situations. And there's rough guidelines and rules for that, but you'll notice that it's basically saying we're going to beat evil and its existence on an individual by individual basis by spreading the knowledge of how to do it like a virus, not trying to whack-a-mole and failing inevitably as things get more complicated.